I love the emphasis here in Acts chapter 14, verse 27 of the gathering together of believers and then the sharing of testimony. Let's read it. Acts 14:27, when they had arrived and gathered the church together, this is Paul and Barnabas that were coming back from their missionary journey. They began to report all things that God had done with them and how he had opened a door of faith to the Gentiles. Now, what was taking place? They were not meeting together for some religious ceremony. What they were meeting together for was to hear the testimony of Paul and Barnabas and what God had done through them on the missionary journey that they were sent out by the church at Antioch to accomplish. And there's a couple of things here that really come to mind when I think about how they did church in the New Testament and maybe how we're doing church now. It looks like, at least in this verse, that there was a time where people got together basically to tell stories, basically say, man, this is what God did in my life. This is what he did through me. This is some awesome stuff that we saw. The testimony, I believe, needs to be more of an emphasis in the church. It is such a place of inspiration and encouragement for those who are either in a hard time and need to hear the testimony about how God came through in a certain situation for someone else in order to provide hope for them in their current situation. Or it's also a great way to kind of cast vision for the future. Like if you hear about something that someone else did, you all of a sudden begin to believe like, hey, that's possible. Why don't I go for that as well? And so this sharing of the testimony, I think, is a critical element to getting together and gathering together. Now, unfortunately, many of our Westernized church services have become so structured and focused on, to the minute time frames that the idea of having a time for testimony isn't really encouraged. It might, draw the service on too long, or maybe it's going to give a different emphasis than what the pastor was planning on preaching that Sunday. Whatever the reason may be, I've noticed that it's not something that's really emphasized very often in most of the churches that I have attended or been a part of. And so I'm wondering what it would look like for us to kind of get back a little bit more to this New Testament model of having time where we're actually sharing testimonies together. Now, the text doesn't say this, but I imagine that it wasn't just Paul and Barnabas sharing testimonies about their work. I imagine that the church at Antioch was also telling Paul and Barnabas all about what was happening within the church there while they were away on their missionary journey. And so this emphasis on relationship and sharing stories of God's goodness with one another, I think, needs to be more solidified in the church. Hey, this is Tyler Cook, head instructor here at Ivy Hop Academy. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that notification bell. That way you'll be notified whenever we put out new content. And if you'd like to learn more about Ivy Hop Academy or take a look at any of our courses, make sure to visit us at ivyhopacademy.org. We'll see you soon.